So you're a fan of Atlanta United, and after winning MLS Cup in year 2, you'd think we'd be contending every year.
Yep, I'm pretty sure that's what you guys thought.
6 years, 3 coaches, an interim coach,
Twice.
and no legitimate runs at the title? What the hell happened?
Well, you've come to the right place.
Was it bad front office player management?
Probably.
Were the coaches all wrong?
Yep.
Did the tactics suck?
Definitely.
Didn't we already cover that?
Yeah, but it's a new era with new hope and new questions to discuss.
Is Deila the answer? Are Lagerwey and Henderson the right dynamic duo? Or will they spend all our gam on another Miguel Berry?
Join us as we drink wine, break it all down, and sort it all out.
I'm Mikey Dobbs.
I'm David Katz.
And I'm Carmen Butler.
And this is Season 7
of the ATL on Fire podcast show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of ATL on Fire, the podcast where we talk all things Atlanta United Football Club and all things soccer and all things that are a disaster at the club. And tonight against Columbus Crew.
Oh,
Welcome back, Dave.
thank you.
With
He's
your
back. Yay.
got your. Tell us about this Japanese jersey you're wearing here.
Urawa Diamonds.
And
That's
are they as bad as Atlanta United?
No, I don't think anybody's as bad as Atlanta United.
Carmen, what are we witnessing on the TV right now at halftime?
First, let's go with the positives, Mikey.
Ooh, I like positives.
The positives.
I like positives.
Stop it.
No, I'm going to go with the positives.
Oh, why?
So there's a sponsor. No, the sponsors.
Oh, yeah, that too. Sorry.
The sponsors. We've got 2 amazing sponsors.
We
That's
do.
a positive.
Amazing sponsors.
Yeah, and you definitely need them tonight.
Yes.
If you like spirits.
Yes.
So we've
If you're out there, quick, go get yourself a Wild Heaven beer and a glass or a bottle of wine from Wolf Mountain Vineyards and get at it.
Yes, get at it. I don't care. It's hump day.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Oh.
Yeah.
So just so you know out there that we're coming to you live on Wednesday night. We just watched the first half of the game. Good Lord. And now we're going to talk about it.
Are we?
Oh, should we warn all listeners? What did you say, Mikey?
This one will be explicit.
This will be explicit.
So kids, if you're listening live on YouTube, earmuffs. But Dave, before that, what are we drinking to calm our nerves here, red wine wise? What did you bring?
We
us?
are drinking a Fry Brothers from Sonoma. It's a Cabernet Sauvignon from the Alexander Valley in Sonoma.
As Atlanta United gets fried by the Crew.
Wine's good.
Wine delicious.
Team's not.
Not so
But
much.
wine's good.
Ooh, I like the new YouTube look you did there with the fire in the background. We got a new vibe. That's,
Yeah, but
How'd that happen?
I don't
Who did
know.
that?
something happened.
We're just gonna stick with it. We're gonna
Yeah,
roll.
absolutely.
We're gonna roll with it.
So, Dave, you've been traveling since you've been
Thank
gone.
God.
Yeah. We went and played Orlando at the Mercedes-Benz. That was like the next day after our last podcast. So it's been like a month since we podcasted, right?
And it looked like we had turned the corner.
Looked like, after we won 2 home games in a row, we beat Orlando 3-2.
Yeah, a good
with some
Orlando team that was hot.
Yeah. Somehow find a way to get 3 goals in that game.
That's right.
And pull it off. And then we go on the road to New York and play the Red Bulls in New York City. We lose 2-0 to the Red Bulls and then 4-0 to NYCFC.
It was a lot of goals against and not so many for.
And then we are now on the current same train at halftime, 3-0.
3-0.
Against Columbus Crew, looking absolutely shambolic. The worst fucking defense I think I've ever seen on. And I mean, it's unbelievable that Ronnie Deila did not make a change in the first half. Would you not agree?
I wanted to make a change in the 16th minute.
Yeah.
Because even before we gave up a goal, I mean, it was just like they were fucking running through us. And you're like, how could you watch that as a team and not do anything about it? Like, I would have done something about it then. I would have been like, you're off.
Yeah.
Get off the field.
Lennon and Abram
'Cause you suck.
particularly need to get off the field defensive-wise.
Lennon, horrible defensively.
Awful.
Right? Abram, horrible defensively.
Awful.
And Ephraim Morales, too, we give him a break because he's young and he hasn't played much. But also horrible defensively.
Yeah, passing it. I mean, got away with one. it should have, left a wide gap through a perfectly direct ball where he didn't put any pressure on him. That turned into a goal.
Yeah.
He stood him up, but then he let him get to the end line, and they score against Bragg, who's on the near post. It's just like
they're just passing and running straight through the heart of our defense. Like there's nobody there.
With 5 in the back. So why go 5 in the back if you're not even going to defend?
Because we're idiots.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Why are we torturing ourselves? I'm sorry, Atlanta United fans. If you're listening to this,
stop watching.
And stop watching. There are 0 listeners right now live. Because,
shocking.
They have tuned out of anything Atlanta United now because they don't deserve our attention.
No.
They don't deserve anything from us right now.
Nobody should watch this garbage. It's garbage.
It's starting to be clear that Deila
has no clue.
Not making the changes. And particularly this half, Dave, what you don't see, tell me some things if you don't see at halftime are just totally damning to Deila right now because he's got to make some changes.
He obviously has no idea. So his solution, I guess he understands at some level that we're terrible in the back, but his solution is just to put more guys in the back and do nothing about it tactically. We're playing 5 in the back, but it's the worst version of 5 in the back I've ever seen. We have 5 in the back, and still nobody is marked up at all.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how is that possible?
Brooks Lennon still pinching like he did under the days of Pineda.
Who the fuck has outside bags?
Cats, what's happening?
It's become that time.
Explain to me, Mikey Dobbs, how you play 5 in the back and you still got your outside backs coming in to help. Why?
Even Amador was saying who doesn't do that. I don't know. Is it being coached like we're saying? Because
it looked like it was being coached.
Yeah. Like, hey, make sure you're pitching and covering, helping out the younger guys, the bad guys in the center.
Okay. I think that's what it is. I think it is. We do not trust our center backs because
terrible.
In this case I'm gonna say young. And they're young and terrible, but young.
Morales is young.
Yep. And what's Edwards playing?
Edwards
is young.
Edwards is the only guy I've seen do anything good out there in their field.
Yeah,
he made some mistakes too, but
mistakes. But he's defending.
He at least can defend.
He can defend.
This is true.
He can win the ball.
Is he a center back though? Because I feel like on an outside back, he's
back.
good, but center back, he's needing some help, and no one trusts anybody, and then it just becomes a crap show.
Right.
So,
this team is a true hot dumpster fire.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yep.
And they had how long to work on this while you're
and a couple of weeks of break, right? To solve the problems in the back, but they've done nothing, right? You can see it. They've done nothing to solve it in the back. And when you play 5 in the back, you concede stuff in the middle because you have less guys in the middle, right? So it's a kind of a desperate move to do that, right? If you do that, you have to, at minimum, stop them from going right up through the middle. That's the whole point, right? If you play 5 in the back and you cannot stop them from going right through the middle, you're a fucking disaster.
It's awful.
Right? It's not even professional soccer because once you've conceded guys in the midfield and they're running right through the middle, what do you got left?
Yeah, it's
awful.
It's painful to watch.
It's absolutely awful.
Okay. So positivity.
Yeah.
Can we go back a little bit?
Yeah.
Let's just go back like a month and a half. I don't even remember when. My kid was still in high school. I don't know what was going on. But we had a 2-match winning streak, right?
Yep.
We were looking good before Cats went out of town.
I don't know if we were looking good.
Okay, not looking good, but we thought we might be turning around. Right? Did y'all see anything at that point, or were any changes made to get us to that point where you were like, here we go?
Yes.
So what happened?
What happened was offensively, we were playing much quicker over the top to Latte Loth. That was the difference, right? And when you do that, you were springing him, and we were looking much more offensively dangerous. We were scoring some goals. We scored 3 goals at home, but we were still giving up 2. Like, it was clear that nothing had gone.
Yeah, and we did that. Okay. We just did that with Almiron played it direct to Latte Loth on that one play,
and that was dangerous.
But we need more of that. Yeah. But that's the only thing, Dave.
Right.
That's
the only thing we got.
It's the only thing we got. Is that it?
Yeah.
That's not enough.
Because this team was built to be on the front foot, right? If we're on the front foot and you got Al Marone and you got Saba and you got Sleece and Cleek and they're playing tiki-taka football like you're seeing from Columbus, then it should be glorious with the occasional mix up of playing Latte Lath over the top, right? Moranchuk, they can all play with the ball at their feet. But the problem is we're not playing on the front foot ever at all. We are two different teams. We have a slightly aging, really good on-the-ball possession style tiki-taka, break them down to the middle offense, and a fucking terrible defense. And they are disconnected. They are playing two separate teams, and it's just awful.
And at the beginning of the season, and up until recently, we at least get people into the box when we attack. That's one major shift that has been a refresher. Is we have 4 or 5 people attacking inside the box, and we sure as hell got unlucky in terms of my eyeball test of not. And Dave would agree, especially those early games. But since then, even tonight. The whole attack, it just feels so soft, unthreatening, relying on Miguel Almiron and Latte Lath just to do everything up there kind of as a flat
But
two.
they look like they've given up.
It does, man. It looks,
and I don't blame them, right? I mean, you've played sometimes
it's awful.
When the defense is terrible, you've played up top,
it's so
and you
awful.
just give up, right? Because you're like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
You can't watch that as an offensive player and be like, really? Again? Like, what are, and they may not know the problem, or they may, I don't know. But regardless of whether or not they can look back and know what our problem is in the back, they're looking at the back and they're like, it's chaos. Everybody's wide open and they're running right through the middle. Like,
it is so obvious that the back, all 5 of them tonight particularly, not sorting it out. The whole point of 5 in the back is you pressure on the outside, make sure that they have no other option but to try to break you down. And we're not even letting them do that. We're like, especially the second part of the second half here, they were marching literally 75% through just like the old Pineda days.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Nobody's challenging it. Brooks Lennon's not getting out wide on anybody, even Amador. It's clearly just a soft
Right.
retreat with no organization and no pressure to commit to really crack some, show some pride too. Have any of our back line laid anybody out?
No.
Edwards played.
Morales looked like
Edwards had that one that got you a little excited for half a second.
And Latte Lots. Okay, so Will Riley is now in
defenders.
the game.
I'm talking about defenders.
Who that is? Who's Will Riley? Who that is?
He's a young kid he drafted. Who did he replace though? It had to be Click. Can anybody see? It's a little far from here.
I can't. Yeah.
We'll see in a minute.
I've never even heard of this guy.
He's good.
Is he good? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, he's not
Will
the
Riley?
answer. Will Riley is not the answer, but
It's something.
It's something different.
I'll
But
take
is that the
something.
only change?
Well,
is that the only change we
the
made?
question is, did he change anything in the back? If he didn't change anything in the back, which I don't look like he did, then he has no clue, right? Because that's the problem. Yeah. So
What do we got? Is Cobb in? At least I feel like you had to bring Cobb in.
So Abram and Morales are still in the game. So no, he hasn't changed it in the back.
Yeah.
He left it in the back. He's like,
Well, who did he pull?
he had to pull. It looks like Sleece is still in the
Is it
game,
my blonde
so it
guy?
has to be Click.
My blonde guy, Click.
Yeah, it's Click. But that's just a scapegoat. And Click wasn't good, but that's just a scapegoat. You just don't understand.
But
the
nobody
problem.
was good. So
Yeah, but you don't understand the problem. So you want me to tell you what would have solved the problem?
Yeah.
please.
Take
What
out
I would have
Lennon.
done? Yeah,
Please.
Lennon has to go. Lennon cannot play in the back. Period. Right? He should. If he's going to play, he has to play as a winger, right? At some level. And I know you're saying, oh, he's a winger and a 5, but if he shouldn't even come back because he just actually gets in the way, right? So if he's going to play as a winger, he's got to play not as an outside back winger. He's got to play as a true. He should be playing the right side of a front 3 if he's going to do anything like that. So I would have brought him off. I would have put on Saba Lochinite.
Yes.
And
Why isn't he on the field? Is
Great
he on the
question.
bench?
yeah, he's on the bench.
I think he is. Yeah, he went.
Because one of the problems that they have is in order to try to protect the team with the so-called 5 defenders, right? He sacrificed one of the creative players, and Saba's the one who got sacrificed this time. It was Al Marone in the last game, right? He didn't play at all.
Right.
And so you can't play all of the attacking talent when you play all those 5 guys in the back. But why play 5 guys in the back if they don't do shit? Like, come on. Mm-hmm. So, I would have brought off Lennon. I would have put on Saba. I would have put Edwards out to the right? And I would have gotten rid of Abram, who I've said repeatedly should never be on a professional football field ever again.
We've said that over.
And so I would have brought on Cobb, and I would have said, all right, Morales and Cobb, you play in the middle. I don't care, make mistakes or whatever, blow it or whatever, but at least you're getting some experience.
Yes.
And have Amador be the left back, play 4 in the back, play straight up, have those guys stay out wide, match up, and let Morales and leave him on an island with sleeves in front and say, hey, go match up and go win the effing ball.
I like it. I like that idea.
No.
I love it. I mean, it's different. Anything different at this point.
It's certainly,
because then you would have changed 2 at the
worst
back.
Case scenario, another 3 goals happen.
Yeah.
But,
well, if you change 2 at the back, at least you're acknowledging what that the problem is in the back. Right?
Yeah.
And we don't have, to be fair, it's not like we have tremendous defensive options, at the back at the moment because Gregerson's still injured. And Williams is out, although I think Williams is terrible too. We're supposedly signing the new guy from Albania, right? The new center back.
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, well, who is this? From where?
From Albania, I think.
I'll think about
I mean, he can't be worse.
I really cannot be, no.
And that maybe suggests that somebody knows that there's a problem in the back, in the center back. But it doesn't matter. They're also coaching them to pinch in and do crazy shit. And they're not coaching them to get up the field and mark up, right? I mean, the number of times in that first half where they played a ball 40, 50 yards from the goalkeeper all the way to midfield and had nobody anywhere close to somebody, right?
It's just...
I mean, I would be losing my mind as a coach. Anytime you play a 40, 50-yard ball straight up the middle and we don't have a defender anywhere close to the guy who's receiving the ball, I'd be losing my mind.
Where they can trap it and turn and then take another 20 yards and go at a player. It's like, what is going on?
We're already 15 yards off of them and we're backing off. Like, get off the field. If you're going to be a cone, get off the field. Carmen, as you mentioned, as I mentioned earlier, right? I think Abram is like a drawbridge stuck in open, right? Like,
come on through,
just do whatever.
We're open for business,
and we're never gonna close. Like it's broken. The drawbridge is broken, Mikey Dobbs, and it will never go back down.
I am just so downhearted.
Yeah,
man. Like I
suck.
I'm so tired of being exhaustedly angry watching Atlanta United games. It's really wearing on me as a person.
Aww.
No, I'm not kidding.
I know you're not. That's the part that's sad.
It is super sad.
And the problem is, Ronnie Deila keeps talking about no fight in the team. It's impossible to have fight when everybody is that wide open. You just get embarrassed. I've coached a few teams when I've been the other team like this, and had the other coach and the other parents screaming at their players like, you got to play harder or whatever, and I'm like, that's not the problem, people. I'm watching. I played. I had a summer team one time, Mikey Dobbs, and because it was a summer team and there was like no authority for it or whatever, and so in the middle of the summer, everybody, all these people are vacationing and blah 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 blah. So I had 2 players at practice.
Jeez,
really? I had a squad of, I think, 26.
Yeah.
And 2 players showed up at practice for 2 weeks in a row. And then we had a big game against the other team, right? And then by the middle of the game, the coach and the other parents are screaming at their team. They're like, they're so much fitter than us. They're outworking you and blah, blah, blah. I'm laughing my ass off because I had 2 players at practice. Nobody had practiced in 3 weeks.
So is that what we need to do? Just practice and go out.
But I had
let the team just coach itself, Dave. Is that what you did?
I'll take that.
The crazy thing is, if you get the tactics right and you have everybody matched up, it looked like our players were everywhere and they were working really hard. They weren't really doing anything. They were just in the right spot.
Yeah.
Right? And this team was actually probably outworking us because they were probably fitter than us and they had worked harder than us and they at least showed up at practice. My players weren't even there. Yeah. So that's what we look like.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Atlanta United fans are screaming at the team, and Ronnie Deila too, as he's like, work harder, get on it, whatever. But, that's not going to do it, right? I mean, it will always help to work harder, of course. I'm not saying we shouldn't work harder, but that's not the problem.
Yeah. Ugh.
Right. And people say, "Oh, our whole team sucks. We don't have a lot of talent."
So not only do I get to be angry and upset with Atlanta United for the last 5 years, which is soccer's bringing me down.
Yeah, it's bringing you down.
But if you watch any of the U.S. men's national team games, they haven't been too inspiring either.
No.
At least they won.
Ugh.
I mean, the only convincing game was Trinidad and Tobago, which you're like, okay, that's what you expect, a 5-0 win, right?
Yeah.
But then the rest of the games are kind of okay.
They only played 2.
Haiti, you beat Haiti 2-1.
To be fair, so first of all, we have less than a full squad, and we can get into, whether players should play or whether they're exhausted and need a break and blah, 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 the whole, Pulisic controversy or whatever. But it's not our full team. And they've won both games.
Well, they won 3 games in the Gold Cup in a row.
Yeah.
They got embarrassed by Switzerland
in the 2 warm-up games,
Yeah, they did.
They got embarrassed.
Yeah. Well,
and Tyler Adams was in for part of those, I think.
a little bit, yeah.
But I still think there's just something not right with the. I mean, he's making. Pochettino is making some boneheaded teams. So why, in some of those games, do you put out a team to be like Switzerland? There were better options on the bench. Why put out a team that gets embarrassed? That's just a dumb thing to do for the.
Yeah, maybe.
It was absolutely naive.
He's trying to figure out what he has, and
he knows
realized that he doesn't have that.
See, but that's what he got wrong. He's smart enough, not to go sacrifice the lambs. He should already know that. He knew that there's better players in the bench and went out and made a mockery of the crest, and that's what pissed me off.
Yeah, maybe.
He didn't learn anything by that. I could have told you that some of those players had no business being on the field.
But if you play a little bit weaker side, and then he plays the better
Switzerland
players,
is not a weaker side.
And we put out a little bit of our weaker side, and let's say he goes and wins the Gold Cup with the better players. Are you going to be happy?
No, Gold Cup doesn't matter.
I'll be happier. I feel like for Mikey Dobbs, you got to be happier.
I mean,
but the U.S. men's national team is really perplexing me, and I think it really comes down, for me at least, what Mikey Dobbs was saying over text. We just don't have depth. So these people don't show up. Then you do have to throw people in kind of to get slaughtered. And we keep talking about Tim Ream. How is Tim Ream still playing? He didn't play that first half, and we got he has to be in because there's nobody else right now, right?
Again, the defense sucks.
Yes.
But again,
outside of our top, Anthony Jedi Robinson, the center backs are not.
Right, but why wouldn't Pochettino start Tim Ream? You got a little bit of older stability. There was no backbone. There was zero. Brendan Aronson could have been in there. Tim Ream could have been in there. There was options to then have some of these younger, naive players have some other more experienced players around him. Mm-hmm. He didn't. He went out and was like, let me go see what I have. And sure enough, you get beat 4-0 by Switzerland. Embarrassment.
Yeah.
Well, so I was going to say the women's coach, Hayes, who really knows what she's doing, is doing the same thing. She's give tons of people first debuts. She's not playing a lot of the veterans at the moment.
It's different.
Why?
Because with the women, we have more depth.
So much better they can just win.
We have depth compared to if you throw them out there.
I don't know if we have so much depth. It's just the other teams are so bad. Oh,
that's
we
what I'm talking.
Scored.
We almost scored. We did.
Oh, almost only counts.
We almost scored. That was a good save. I don't know who shot that.
I mean, I'll take almost.
We almost scored.
But I mean, I don't know. We're a year out. Experiment should have been made 2 years ago with trying to figure out who your 11 is. He doesn't know who our 11 is.
I think the problem you got is where is he going to go in the center backs? I mean, I guess Richards, but outside of that,
I mean, if Ream is playing as our starting center back for our World Cup team, we are in serious trouble.
But we don't have any options.
Do you bring Miles Robinson? And I mean, that seems like your better options. I'd rather have a guy who can at least run with the best in the world. Oh, that was over. That looked over.
Come on. Where's the watch? Let's see.
That is a goal.
Oh my gosh, did they not give that to us? That has to be a goal. Where's the watch?
Has VAR gone back and look at that?
Does he not have a watch?
No, there's no watch.
There's no watch?
In MLS.
If MLS doesn't give this as a goal for Atlanta United,
Are you kidding me?
That's about as obvious an angle as
that
you
was
can see.
6 inches over the line. Not even close.
If I were Atlanta United, I'd lose my
I would lose my
effing
effing
mind
mind
and get sent off.
too.
We have not gotten any calls our way all
was a
year.
Ronnie Dial, if we don't give this to us, Ronnie Dial has to is it a handball? Is that what they're saying? Maybe a handball off the first one.
That would be so. That would be classic. I mean,
Even
clearly
Rex
a goal.
Lennon can score from there.
Clearly a goal, but did it? Yeah. Are they going to do some other?
yeah.
Okay,
going
so this is
over.
a goal. This is a goal.
It's going over.
Okay, don't call it a comeback.
Well, no, it'll be the 3-1 prediction that you and I had, right?
No, because I'm never right, Mikey Dobbs. So
We're gonna.
Carmen and Mikey Dobbs both predicted a 3-1 loss, people. So that's good.
we did.
I had no idea because I've been out of the country. I didn't even see the last.
You don't know.
games.
You don't even know how bad we are, man.
Yeah,
You're
I know.
coming in all optimistic because you wanted to be, but
Well, when I left, we were playing a little better.
Come on, guy. Don't even take a lot of time for this. I'm going to be ticked off. This
like
takes
seriously,
longer than
this
3
is
seconds.
this is what's so aggravating.
Yeah.
Like this, it's ChatGPT days. Like general AI's coming, and we can't even figure this out in 1 second.
Are they
Like,
trying
Thank
to
you.
figure that whether that cross went out of bounds? What are they looking?
The only thing I think, hand.
Because it bent, but it couldn't have gone all the way out of bounds.
they review everything, and that's
Oh, is that what they're reviewing? Oh.
There's no way.
Okay,
that-
you can't call that back. There's no way.
There's no way that MLS, can figure out whether that went over the.
yeah. That's
There was
just,
just so if you're not watching, there was a cross on the left.
that may have bent behind the end line.
Was that Miranchuk? Yeah, I think it was
think
Miranchuk
so.
who made that ball.
Yeah, I think so.
He lofted it to the far post. It was headed back across, and it dribbled to Lennon.
So
and
now
kicked it in
the
from
now the
2 yards.
VAR is obviously not about whether it was a goal crossing the line.
Yeah, that was.
It was
obvious.
about whether the cross crossed the end line before it came back.
Clearly went over.
Checking
He wasn't
disallowed
offside.
goal. What does that mean?
They're just checking.
Generally everything?
I mean, like,
They didn't
At-
freeze
at-
at the right
at what
point.
Yeah, that was like before. That was
at what point do you need to waste the center guy's line? Be like, no, it was 100% across the line. How can they not tell them that? Like, you don't even need to take a look at this one. It was definitely across the
Yeah.
line because it's embarrassing at some point if the ref does get it wrong at the box. Like, oh, I didn't think it crossed the line. Well,
Especially you got nothing to lose. I mean,
Okay.
they're up 3-0. So
Here we go. That's a goal. Come on.
I bet you it's not.
Come on, MLS.
They'll find a way for it not to be.
Goal. No, they'll give it to us. We're too bad.
No, he did not point to the end line, so I don't see him doing it yet.
All across the goal line. Goal.
goal.
All right. 3-1. Here we go, guys.
But why didn't he not signal the goal? He didn't do
I
the.
think because he was doing the old explanation that they do now.
Or he's just an MLS ref. And doesn't.
No MLSE.
But seriously, why don't we have a watch? I don't
Because we
understand.
don't have any goal line technology,
Don't
nothing.
understand it. We are America, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, that's.
Latte did really well there, too. Or was it Edwards? Was it Edwards
I
who
think
chested
it looked like Edwards, but I couldn't
yeah,
really
I think
see.
it was Edwards. It was really a good job of chesting it.
Positivity. All right, here we go. I
No.
like it.
I don't have any
Let's go.
positivity.
This is it.
There's no reason to have positivity.
Here's the turnaround for the season. We just saw it, guys.
No, it doesn't matter because
None of this matters at all
the
based on
defense
the
is
defense.
so bad.
So bad.
You can't. The only thing that can get you through is just pure luck, and that's not a defense.
That's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. Exactly. Our defense is bad. So what? So I made my changes. What would you guys do?
I would definitely Abram off with Cobb in. Lennon off absolutely.
Do you have Hernandez on the bench? Just so you know, but I haven't been impressed with him at all.
I would put in Hernandez versus Saba.
Anything at this point.
Versus switching. So hold on. My back line would be Amador, Cobb.
Got it?
We have Morales back there.
Yeah.
Morales and Hernandez. Or did I say
Edwards?
Edwards. Sorry, Edwards. Okay, so start there, and then Sleece in front of them.
Yeah.
And then I would have Miranchuk, Latte, Miguel Almiron, and Saba somewhere. I don't know where Saba in the mix is like a center attacking drifter. I don't care.
I'll take that.
Or drop Miguel Almiron into more of a 10 position and put Saba out a little wider.
Yeah. I'd have Saba on the right, Latte Loth in the middle, and Almiron on the left.
Yeah, that'll work too.
That's what I would do as a front three. And then playing with Miranchuk behind them.
Yeah. So Sleece, Miranchuk, and then those three.
Sleece is the defensive midfield.
But
I do feel like we need more motion up top too. Like I feel like Saba at some point was like all over the field.
Yeah, he's good. He's got
You
a lot of
know?
motion.
yeah, he's one of the
But I
few
feel like
creative-
first half of this game, and maybe the last game, I can't remember. I felt like it was a little bubble hockey even for us. You know,
Is he's made us worse. How did we get Ronnie Deila after Pineda? And how did Ronnie Deila ever
sorry.
Good call. Time's running out, Deila.
We need a new song. Let's do it. Mikey Dobbs, can you pull that up? Because I'm off the Deila bandwagon because he doesn't see it.
But so how does he win championships at Celtic and
Because
NYCFC?
you know what I think?
What is it, Dave? Just total luck, dumb luck? Because he's
well,
not a good coach and just
No.
lucked out with great players that organize themselves. Like what?
No. I mean, yes.
Here we go.
Yes
Here we
and no. Come on, score.
Okay, all right. It's looking a little more promising now.
Finished that.
Looking a little more promising. All right, sorry, I cut you off.
What I would say is that I have a feeling that if they're on the front foot a little bit, like I don't think he's probably that bad of a coach offensively, right? I think we've shown some glimpses that we can press up the field and maybe have some interchanging movement and whatever. I think where he got lucky in the past is I don't think he has a clue what he's doing in the back, and he just had some players who just could get it done
At
right?
Celtic too?
Yeah, and
That's a lot of luck.
Well, what I would say is that he hasn't always had the luck. He's gotten fired from all those places too, right? So what I would say is that he's had enough defending just to get by, and he's won a couple of titles, right?
That's what it's all about, though.
That's a good ball.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can't have your cake and eat it too, Dave. I'm sorry. He does this all the time. Have you noticed this, Carmen? It's all about coaching, winning resume. But now all of a sudden, which I agree, he's definitely not figuring it out for Atlanta United. But you can't just throw the baby out with the
I don't know
bathwater.
if I'm doing that. What I would say is like, so if Atlanta United, for example, let's say that he realized or the team realized that whatever that the center backs are awful, and let's say he got this new Albanian center back, and he turns out to be great.
Here we go.
It's a good ball.
We got a score here. He misses this.
Please!
How did he miss that?
Oh, gosh.
great-
That was
He did great.
fantastic.
He did great up until the last thing. He's lost his.
Miggy was great getting that ball,
Yeah,
cutting it back. He put it
ball.
great
Beautiful
ball through to
ball.
Latte Loft.
Great
Who
cut
cuts
by
it back,
Latte Loft.
and he just had to.
He just
That was
missed.
way wide though.
He just missed.
He just missed, man.
But that's another signal. Like when you're a forward and you don't get many chances, when you get the chance, it's like you're always in a hurry and you're like, "Oh, let me get it
He's
off."
had some chances like that though this season.
Yeah.
Well, what I was going to say is that so let's say hypothetically that we get this Albanian guy and he's a really good defender, right? And he can, let's say he's the MLS, Van Dijk.
Okay.
And so he just can dominate his position as it is. And let's say, for example, that suddenly Gregerson is not hurt all the time. So let's say those two guys are in the center.
I'm not betting on either of those.
No,
bets.
I'm not saying either. But what I'm saying about Ronnie Deila is if that were to happen and suddenly the defense is, 40% better, 50% better, then you could see him winning the title with this team.
See, but
I'm sorry. What? See
Yeah.
who? Dolly? I can't ever say the dude's name.
Yeah,
Ronnie
maybe.
Deila.
Maybe.
No,
So with just the two center backs, you
No,
think he can win the title?
If they were to suddenly, basically solve the defensive problems, yes.
Okay.
but
I don't think he knows how to coach it. Like, I think he just got some, to be fair, you could have said this, about Liverpool. Like, I'm not sure that Klopp, blah, 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 was super aggressive up the field, but, Van Dijk makes him look really good, right? There's certain players who just...
I don't know. I feel like you should move the card deck around, man.
Maybe, but...
Because look, yeah, I mean, Of course, if we bring in, we've been saying it since the get-go. We know we have two bad center backs. And it's
he doesn't know that. That's
I'm sure he does. He does.
Maybe. But he hasn't.
He just doesn't think that any changes.
So what I was
going
to say is a great coach could take even, an Abram or a Williams or whatever and make him serviceable. It is very clear that he cannot do that.
Right.
So he needs great defenders who can be serviceable just on their own that were coached by somebody else.
Yeah.
Right. And that happens. You see that sometimes where a coach has no idea.
Who did Frank DeBoer have for us in the back?
It was LGP still after that first season. Parkhurst was gone. Who did it? It was Miles Robinson after that.
Yeah, so we had Miles Robinson.
So Miles Robinson started after that. That was a pretty good center back pairing, Miles Robinson and LGP. Mm-hmm. But I think, LGP is a pretty good example. Like, he's a flawed player, right? But
I love him.
But, coaching put him in the right position and gave him the right thing, and he did well enough. Yeah.
So, do we not have the defenders where, let's say, I can never say his name.
Ronnie Deila.
Yeah. Let's say he's a good coach.
Yep.
Are we saying, though, our defenders are just that bad? Yes. Like, it doesn't matter what you do. You can put them wherever.
And we have said this from a long time now, that our center backs, no matter who the coach is, are not good enough, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the flip side of that coin is if we had the best defensive coach in the world, whoever that is, right, then with this defense even we be serviceable? Probably, right? For example, Wilfred Nancy, if we would just switch, right, would he make this defense serviceable? Probably, right? I mean, would they be, MLS best defense? No, but, they score a lot of goals and.
I mean, at this point, I just don't want to be 13th on the table. I feel like with our talent.
Don't worry, we won't be soon. We'll be 14th.
Let's go. Yeah, we're going nowhere because if you cannot stop people from going up the field, especially up the middle, what are you going to do?
I felt like we used to be good at keeping people from coming out the middle. That's why Miami had such problems.
This?
When Miami would have problems
like 2019?
No,
I always thought that we would leave it wide open on the edges.
Did.
And then they would just,
weren't good in the middle.
People weren't coming directly down.
A little bit, just because they had so many guys in the middle and they didn't need to. They were so wide open out wide, and they would cross it and score, right?
Because I always thought that's why we were good against Miami, because they would just drive it down the middle, and we were clogged in the middle and wouldn't let them drive through
Pineda
us.
did do that, right? He had the outside back so far pinched in that it was clogged in the middle.
Yeah.
But we were still horrible defensively.
That was a great ball.
That was a great ball.
Come on. Foul. Call that, sir. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Maybe a free kick.
Here we go. 3-2, guys. 3-2.
All right.
Here comes the comeback.
It's amazing that we're still cheering for this team. At least for me, because I do want them to score here, but I also want it to just catch on fire until there's no salary cap.
I mean, maybe I shouldn't say this out loud on the podcast, but kind of rooting for us to get hammered and let's get Deila fired.
Oh, whoa.
What are we doing?
You go to Tokyo and Iceland, and all of a sudden...
I said that I would give, Deila till the middle of the year, and I would say, like, if we... by the middle of the year, if there was no signs of progress, then I would lose the faith with him. Remember we were talking about what do we call it?
You did say that.
Meter?
Worry meter.
Worry meter. But you came into this podcast hopeful.
No.
You did.
Well, I wasn't very hopeful because I saw the two results when I was gone.
But you kind of were like, even if we get beat, if we played well and we did some things.
I feel like your last worry meter was still like at a, you were still positive.
Worry meter is like 10 now. I mean, it's because nothing has changed defensively. We now got to the middle of the year. We're halfway through, right? That's what I said. I would always judge them, and we have shown no signs of improving in the back.
So when we finished winning, or let's just say after Frank DeBoer, really, because Frank DeBoer was obviously the last decent coach we had.
Yep.
Could you have tried harder to make worse outcomes of teams than what we've done since?
Not so much with the talent we've had. We did have, to be fair, right after DeBoer that year, the next year,
that next year
was pretty poor.
Yeah.
But after that, we've had good players.
That was like COVID, and no one really cared anyway. So there's a whole.
Have we always had the best team? No, but we haven't been as bad as our record. I mean, talent-wise. So we've played 19 games. Yeah.
It's
so
just
we're past halfway.
After watching the Club World Cup and realizing like the potential Atlanta United should have as a club that has the best stadium in the world.
Yeah.
The best financing.
Fans are pissed.
They've blown it. Like it's classic Atlanta. Like they could not have delivered more on the disappointment that I have in terms of expectations of sports in Atlanta. They have fucking exceeded my expectations of taking my hate for the Falcons organization and taking it to a next level of 28-3. No. It's even worse than 28-3.
I have to say, one of the guy who also deserves to me the blame is Lagerwey because Lagerway kept saying that the coach doesn't matter that much, right? It's not that important. You just get the players and whatever, and then he keeps. He needs 3 transfer windows or whatever to get the best players in, and he's got better players, and he's got all the players he wants in, and it hasn't gotten better, right? And it hasn't gotten better because the coaching hasn't gotten better.
Yeah, but this is where I say you can't have your cake and eat it too, Dave. Because when we hired Deila, you agreed he was a good coach with a good resume and all of the things. So
I agreed that he had a decent resume, but I had never seen him coach, and I said that I would withhold judgment until I actually saw him coach our team. And I also said we would wait half a season to really see if I could see improvements on the field, and the answer was no.
I don't know, Dave. I
don't think I've been that inconsistent.
You have been inconsistent. You also thought that Ten Hag was a good coach too when he came on board for Manchester United, did he? Well, not Carmen. Ten Hag was going to succeed.
Shoot.
Just go ahead, dig yourself out of the hole. Go.
No, what I would say is that in neither of those cases. Because I don't watch enough world football, had I been able to week by week watch the coach or whatever. And I said, if you go back to the podcast, I will reserve judgment until I actually get to watch him coach the team week by week, and then I'll be able to really judge. Because all I was judging was on the record. The records were pretty good.
But Ten Hag, where did he come from?
He came from Holland. He had won the league.
Ajax, correct? So clearly he could coach.
Well, he did well at Ajax.
Or did he just happen to have good defenders and an attacking team that got it done, like you just said? What is it, Dave? Is he a good coach or not?
We're turning against each other. This is what Atlanta United has done to us.
Hold on. What I would have said is actually still having watched Manchester United the whole time, I don't think that Ten Hag is a bad coach. I think he's a good coach. Do I think that he's as good as I had hoped he might be, like a really phenomenal coach? Maybe not. I think that he was a little bit... unlucky, if you will, to not really quite do a little bit better than he did. Obviously, a couple of their signings didn't work out well. Like, the big one, Højlund was supposed to be a guy who could score and really didn't. And, there are situations where, players, if you look at the Man United squad, I've said at that time, like, maybe we don't have the players. But, and I could be wrong about our squad, but I think this Atlanta United squad, compared to MLS, of course, not compared to the Premier League, but compared to MLS squad, looks to me like a very talented squad. Even with, I think you're really down on Almiron because you haven't seen anything. I still think, when I watch Almiron, his movement is really good. When he's on the ball, he doesn't give it away.
I'm not that down on Almiron. I am more down on Click.
Click has really been a bust.
Yeah.
He's been a bust? Okay.
He hasn't been good. He hasn't been... I thought he was going to be a guy... I knew he was old, and I knew he wasn't going to move as much as what he used to be, and that was a big part of his game. But I thought he would still read the game. I thought he would still kick some people, and I thought passing-wise he would be terrific. Yeah. And he hasn't been any of those things.
And because... It's a domino game, and you have a few weak links. Yeah. It makes everything weaker. So Sleece is looking worse off because he doesn't have support in front of him with Click, and obviously behind him with Abram, Williams, Lennon.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem. Yeah. It's all right there.
Sleece has no chance. I mean, I don't know whether Sleece...
He has no chance to look good because of...
Would we find out that Sleece is better or not than we think he is? I don't know. But he has no chance because
he's got
the players behind him are so bad.
How do y'all like these changes?
So it's
What just happened?
Tiare for Miranchuk,
Yep.
and it
Edwards
was
came
Saba
out.
for Edwards.
Yeah.
So they're going for
Why?
for-
But again, if you're
Take
Deila, you
Yeah.
don't understand.
You're not solving the problem.
not.
Because why wouldn't
No.
you leave Edwards on
Yeah.
the field? He's the best defender we have left on the field, right?
Have we seen?
So that's what I'm saying. He doesn't understand, just like Pineda didn't understand, how bad Abram is. And I don't understand. I mean, if there's one thing that I have been 100% consistent on from now for a while now, that I have said for a while now that Abram is not a professional player.
Yeah,
he's terrible.
the
And
amount
how
of,
can they not see that?
I don't know.
He's awful.
And at some point, it's Lagerway and who's the technical director now? Do we have a technical?
I don't know.
Yeah,
we
we
have.
got the new guy.
We got.
Who's-
Oh, that's
who's with
right.
Chris Henderson.
That's right. I forgot about that.
But he
He's
was
supposed to
new.
be
Was
really
it? Oh,
good.
Chris Henderson. Yeah,
yeah,
he was.
he's relatively new.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came from Miami.
He needs a
where
go-to then. Chris,
he's
see you later.
I forgot about him
Because you're not figuring it out.
Well, one thing I'll say is that, what do we have rumors about is at least it's a center back, right?
Yeah, who is this guy?
Well, this isn't a mystery. I mean,
It's a mystery to Deila. He keeps
Well,
playing
no,
Abram.
You took all your designated player money and you bought, the fancy players.
Yeah.
So, yeah, now that we got some change left, when it's obvious as hell you need to spend on the center back, like, come on. I'm not going to give any credit on that. Like,
Well,
duh.
but I think Deila doesn't get it because if I were Deila, I would play anybody but Abram. Honestly, I think that Click could be a better center back than Abram. Right?
Yeah, there's no way Abram should be playing and Noah Cobb on the bench or anybody on the bench.
I mean, and we're not really clear exactly whether Cobb is really good or not. We haven't seen enough of him to
he's
really
got to
know.
be better than Abram.
But I would still try it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be playing Abram. I wouldn't have been playing Williams anymore. Period.
Have we seen Jamal, the TRA and
And
Latte Lath playing together
no, I
before?
don't think
This is the
they've-
first
they've
time?
always
I
been
think they have been once.
very,
They were
very
one,
late.
one of the games they were on, I recall, and I can't remember what, but I'm pretty sure they were on one game together.
All right, let's see it.
But it was a game like we were losing, and I think we tried to put firepower out there.
Kind of like this one.
Yeah, kind of like this one. Is that what's going on now? They're both on?
I think they're both
Yeah, they're
on.
both
Yeah,
on.
there you go. That's why. Same definition of insanity. Like Dave said, don't solve the problem in the back.
Right.
Let's just throw more ammo
Let's
up
hope
front.
that we have, more attacking players will do it.
Let's see.
You're like, I don't know.
But anyway, to change the subject while this game's going on, the Club World Cup is going on right now, and
That's
it's
right.
been 110 degrees everywhere in the United States.
Right.
They've had trouble with even getting more than 20,000 people at Mercedes-Benz Stadium for some of the group stages.
Now, one of the things that's crazy. So first of all, we had said right from the beginning that it was way overpriced.
Way priced out. They
It's
priced out
ridiculous.
everybody.
Yeah.
Inclu-
But on top of that, they made another curious decision, which is in order to accommodate a world audience, they've put some of these games at 3:00 midday in the
Yeah.
U.S. And I get that's better for Europe or whatever, but I don't care who you are, right? I mean, I'm not sure the best NFL teams in the country are best, are going to draw that well at 3:00 on a midweek.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People have jobs.
Yeah. And by the way,
I mean, we don't,
at
but
the stadiums. And by the way, the stadiums that don't have air conditioning, like the Mercedes-Benz, might be the hottest.
yeah, the
at
hottest
3
part
p.m.
of the day, exactly.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Well, I will say though, it started to get more entertaining, and
Well, some of the riffraff are gone, including my Urawa Diamonds
yeah, but
from the
I
J
watched
League.
I watched Inter Miami against Palmeiras the other night.
I saw it too.
Very entertaining game.
That
Yeah.
was.
I was entertained. Like I was like, all right, man, I'm leaning in. It was good soccer. Palmeiras, clearly a younger team, knocking the ball around. I thought it was entertaining, and it's just amazing too. That I mean, you really look at how much older Messi and Suarez were than these like 21-year-old kids.
Yep.
The Palmeiras were like flying around. Really,
Yeah.
a very good team, and they were able to pull it off. I mean, it was. They ended up tying 2-2.
The South American clubs, with the exception of Boca, who's out, have done really well.
Yeah.
Botafogo
Well, they say
have been
that because they're
good,
taking
and-
it serious. Because the one thing that Club World Cup did is they put some money on the table. Evidently, I don't know all the details, but for a South American club, for the pride of beating the European champion and winning 60 million and money for your
How
club.
did they not score that one?
Yeah.
How did that ball not go in? Anyway, sorry. We're still watching the game.
Yeah.
81st minute.
But I will say it's getting entertaining. This Saturday at noon, PSG and Miami play Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah.
I mean,
is that
if
Sunday?
I was here, I would
Sunday.
go. I'm actually still thinking about going, but I gotta,
It's Sunday at
Yep,
noon.
Sunday. at noon.
Sunday at noon. Sorry, yeah, Sunday at noon. I mean, that's going to be a fun game. I think
Oh, yeah. I mean,
that's a fun game. So if I could figure out a way to scalp a $50 ticket, getting in there somehow, because there's going to be tickets available at the last second,
yeah.
right?
there's still tickets for sure.
Yeah.
Because they way overpriced. Our season tickets, which are in a very nice location, but I mean, it was like $300 for a ticket,
Yeah.
right, or more. All right, so Hernandez and so he brought off
Latte Loth
Latte
came on.
Loth, Cobb came on, and Hernandez came on.
All right, so
But still, Abram's in the fucking game. Why? Why, Mikey Dots? Why?
Maybe he's like really good in practice or
We
something.
need it.
no, he's not. No, he's not.
No,
Is
I'll tell you, and I've
he-
said this before on the podcast. The reason why people don't think he's that bad is because you don't even today, right?
He
didn't
allays
make
any of the
mistakes.
responsibility.
Nobody, beat him, right? The guy who got beat was Morales on the goal, right? Morales,
okay.
was on the guy and he shot it near post and whatever. But Morales didn't really get beat that bad. It kind of got shot underneath him. And on that play, right, Abram just let the ball go right over his head, did nothing, but nobody sees that. They only see Morales at the end.
Abram is, Olay. He's like, let the bull go by.
Yeah. He's very good at staying out of the play.
That's the thing. Yeah, exactly. He's like that. I mean, if it was a forward, you would compare him to somebody who never takes on anybody. He just kind of.
And you would think,
Right.
analytics could put a pretty big highlighter on that day,
He
right?
never gets a tackle in.
How can the analytics data that Garth is a big analytics guy?
Right.
I
They
mean,
must know.
moreover, just watching.
Just watch it.
Just watch
Just
the
watch
damn
the
game.
game.
It's unbelievable. You don't even need data.
I was about
But
to say, if I'm sitting here wondering who he's sleeping with to get playing time, clearly you know that he should not be
You
on the
haven't
field.
figured that out?
I haven't figured that one out.
He's got Miguel Berry's agent, I guess. I don't know.
That guy has photos of somebody. But that's the thing, right? I mean, Miguel Berry's still in the league,
It's insane, man.
right? I mean, so there are multiple people at multiple clubs have seen something in Miguel Berry that he's still there.
He's tall.
Heck, Amar Sedek is still in this Columbus team.
Oh,
Right?
Sedek is?
Yeah, he's on the bench, but
At least Dom Dwyer's not here.
Don Dwyer, that guy did some things.
I was a fan of Dom Dwyer.
Yeah, I don't think you can't lump him into that
I don't know.
conversation.
I love Dom Dwyer, but at the end, though, I was like,
Nice, Saba. Here we go.
Oh,
somebody? Anybody?
That's a pretty good ball he tried.
Yeah, it was.
There was nobody open.
Aaron Chook.
Take him out. Why not?
Well,
Aaron Check doesn't play any defense.
Aaron Chuck's not even out there. Is that him?
Yeah,
He's
he's
still out there.
still
I
out
thought he
there.
came out.
he doesn't play defense, but at least, like I said, the way he drifts into space,
Yeah.
he at least knows how to drift into space
He's
defensively.
available.
That creates an angle that at least makes the rest of the people behind them know where the ball should be going. So he's at least signaling to the rest of the team.
And
it's
if we could
behind
freaking win
him,
the ball, he'd
but-
be fine.
But that's the thing is the defenders behind him can't even pick up on.
They're awful.
They're so bad on, okay, Miranchuk shifts this way, which means the only way the ball can go is this way or this way, and then go
don't
put
know.
pressure there.
Exactly.
But they just keep it soft. Keep it soft.
I don't even think you can call it keeping it soft.
I
It's
feel
like
like
run
you-
away.
Yeah.
You know, you ever see Monty Python and the Holy Grail? He,
Hey!
I warned you.
he bravely ran away.
Abram, he bravely ran away. Abram ran away.
We need an AI song.
Oh,
Can you do that for us? Can you get us an Abram ran away song?
Abram ran away. Ran away.
He avoided a challenge. He didn't get in a play. He bravely ran away.
Who needs AI? You guys got it.
Come on. We need that for the next time.
I will do it.
If
when
you're
we're done
out
with the
there,
podcast
look
here.
for it on social media. We're going to have an Abram bravely ran
Oh my
away
goodness.
song.
So wait, is Abram and Lennon, are they both still out there?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh,
Knock him over. There it is.
no way. That's a foul.
Oh, that is
You
a
knew he was
cheap
going to call
call.
that, though. You knew he was going to call that. But I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
TRA pushing someone over.
Make him make the call.
Yeah. That's a foul.
Soft call.
This team. I'm trying to stay positive, guys.
There's
really,
nothing to
About
be
what? There's
positive
nothing to be
about.
positive about.
I feel like there must be something. It's the summer of soccer, guys.
I know. So the U.S. men's national team sucks. Atlanta United sucks.
I'm not as down on the U.S. national team.
Why are you not down? Like, what is your hope for the U.S. men's national team?
We have a
World Cup
year.
semifinals.
That's about it.
What?
What? Really? Still?
Still.
You're delusional.
I don't know because
You're really delusional at this point. Like, I no way.
But you're making a lot of judgments based on a lot of nothing games. Like,
Well,
and
right.
we're nowhere close to the final team
No,
that
we're,
will be there. In
we're
the World
one
Cup.
year, and that nothing team, that team
Yeah.
has not gotten any time together, which matters for cohesion, which is what this Gold Cup was supposed to be. Sure, they've been injuries. Des got surgery, all of it, but we're not getting any meaningful games. There's no cohesion.
I saw
Gio Reyna, as far as I know, I don't know that I would trust him on the U.S. men's national team.
I saw a hot take that you might appreciate.
Ooh, hot take.
Not for me.
Okay.
This was in it was in the Athletic.
Yep.
It was a hot take that said that perhaps American soccer has finally arrived because all these national teams
I think I saw
have these problems, right? There's in many of the teams that went on to win the World Cup, they've had, coming into it, some striker refused to play and then he played and had some riff with the coach and they weren't sure about this and weren't sure about that, but they had, some talent and they put them together and they eventually come together and they play well, right? You don't have to be good until the tournament. Right. And if you have talent, which I think we do, and you have a coach who can get it right, which I think we do, right, then, not to say that that's the best way to do things. Mm-hmm. You'd love to be Spain and win 3 tournaments straight or whatever. But
I think that's where the data, as a data person, would approve, is that being prepared and have a resume of winning is the better approach than just saying, let's just hope that all of our disparate club players who are great players can come together at the last minute with a coach Pochettino who clearly is making some bad decisions right now with some C players. Like, why would you expect him to make better decisions with A players?
But I don't have a problem with him losing a friendly. Like, who cares? Right? Why do you have a problem
Yeah, I
with
do
that?
have a problem with it because it didn't do any of those players any good, Dave. It embarrassed them. They're
We
confident.
realize that we need better players.
Their confidence is down.
That is true.
Their confidence is down. So that might stop their progression of confidence. It didn't help the fan base believe in anything.
But
and hold on, and also there was a way for that not to happen, to where you could have put in Tim Ream, you could have put in Brendan Aronson, you could have put in somebody else that I don't know that was on the bench, and then actually build them up with maybe like a 3-1 loss or 3-2 loss. And that would have been more acceptable, more productive. And we didn't do that. He just made an asinine decision with the C-level team.
I agree with you that I would have probably more integrated some of those C-level players that you want to see whether they could do it with some better players to see that. Mm-hmm. But there's also an argument to be made. These are, matches with tired people coming off of Europe and nobody cares, and you just throw out all the young players and see if anybody shows you any kind of spark. Just look at them and you don't care about the result. It's like preseason baseball, right?
That's clearly what he did. It's clearly what he did. Yeah. But at some point,
and if he knows that and the players know that, then it doesn't hurt the psyche of the team.
Then say that. Don't be a sissy, because he's like, I'm not a mannequin. Well, then tell the fans, I wasn't trying to win the game.
I'm sorry. You don't lose 4-0 to anybody and not have it affect your psyche somewhat.
Yes.
You can't lose 4-0. No, not even lose 4-0. 4-0 at half.
Yeah, but here's the thing. you can if none of those players are the players who are going to be in the team when,
Then why are they in camp?
Because he's trying to see if anybody can help us at all.
But he should already know. If they're that bad, then
no,
he
he's
should already
trying
know.
to see if there's one or two players amongst those who can eventually maybe give us
I don't think he's the right. He hasn't even talked to Serginho Dest yet.
Oh, he hasn't?
No.
I didn't even see that.
Oh, this is, who knows?
He doesn't communicate to anybody.
Well,
And he's clearly alienating, like he's screwed up the communication with Christian Pulisic on the reason he didn't play.
Yeah.
They got off the same page there. Bad communicator. And that's all around.
Pulisic actually has come out and said that what he asked is
that
if
he
he
wanted
could
to
play
play
the two friendlies and not play the Gold Cup. And I think that would have been, if you're the coach and say, look, he needs a rest and I'm going to give him that, let's let him do that.
Well, it wouldn't have embarrassed us for nothing against Switzerland. Right. So Pochettino is also like, well, he wanted the full team together to be able to train. I don't get that either because those guys aren't going to be there anyway.
Yeah.
I don't buy it. Like that's not his team anyway. So none of it makes any sense to me that he's like, oh, I wanted this whole team through the Nations League's game and through the Gold Cup. Mm-hmm. And Christian Pulisic, who I also think should have just done himself a favor and come back anyway and said, hey, dude, I do need a rest, but I'm going to be here.
Right.
And you're going to not run me like crazy during training. I'll be here as part of the team for the morale. Because one thing I will say for Christian Pulisic is he's finally on a year and a half, 2-year run of not being injured. And that's been his biggest cap.
That's good.
Is like soft muscle injury. And if his body's saying, hey, dude, played 50 games this year and 3,000 something minutes. Yeah. I need a break. Yes, listen to that birdie on her shoulder. Yeah. Check. Yes. But he's getting a bunch of shit from Landon Donovan and Tim Howard that he's
Donovan's a guy who took all the time off.
Yeah. Hold on. You know what? Brendan Donovan. He's like he's saying, oh well, he was having some issues, whether he even wanted to play again. He had some mental health issues. Yeah. That sounds like a damn double-edged sword to me right there. Yeah. Now take care of your mental health. Maybe Christian Pulisic is taking care of his mental health. Okay? Yeah. And he's also like, well, maybe Christian Pulisic is, but I'm going to call him out in front of and not help the U.S. men's national team. Maybe he's not in mental health. Maybe he's just about health. Okay? Not mental health like you had problems with because you're soft, Landon Donovan.
Uh-oh.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, Pulisic, I think,
me off. And then he calls out, David Beckham too. That's just the kind of guy that Donovan is. He's on fire. Who is he to call out David Beckham? Donovan. Who is he to call out Christian Pulisic? I mean, come on.
It's interesting though. Like even Messi, like at times he took some games off, and people in Argentina were all in arms and it's going to ruin the whatever, and he doesn't play for the flag anymore or whatever, and then he needed it and he came back and of course he's way good. Now I'm not saying that Pulisic is Messi, but he's
our Messi.
I was about to say for us in our depth, he is Messi.
Yeah.
It is very clear that the players in Europe are completely overworked. And for them to come off of that, there's a number of players who played in Europe and are now playing in the Club World Cup, and none of those players are going to get injured because your body just can't handle it. Yeah. It's not good. I actually agree with the players. People are like, oh, they're soft or whatever. Back in the day, they played whatever. But the truth is, back in the day, they didn't. They played every week. They always showed up and they never took time off. But they had a whole offseason that was a serious offseason. And they didn't have the number of fixtures they have. If they go back statistically, those old guys are like, oh, we played or whatever. You're like, you're full of shit. You played like 2/3 or 50% of the matches.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Donovan and Tim Howard. Yeah. They're saying things without saying things. Yeah. And they're not helping the mode of like.
But I think with all of that, right? This whole idea that the U.S. men's national team is in big trouble or whatever is overblown, right? Like, we may be, but we won't know that for another. I mean, if everybody turns out to be healthy going into the World Cup and we have a full squad, we're going to be okay.
If our talent is healthy, then we should do okay. If we played together as a team. Yeah. Which is yet to be seen.
And he's got to find a center back answer.
That too.
I don't know.
And how are our keepers? I mean, I
the
know
keepers are not good.
I think Tim Ream's going to make the squad.
I think he has to. I think he has to. Quite frankly.
Yeah, but right now he has to.
He might not.
He has to.
I hope, honestly, at this point, I hope he makes the team, but doesn't start.
Although, to be fair, one of the things people are like, oh, we're still out, a year out, and that's like, there's no matches left. So many times when you look at real World Cup, like, for example, when France won the World Cup, going into a year before, nobody had ever heard of Thierry Henry or Trezeguet or any of the guys who won the World Cup for them for the first time. They all emerged in that year before the World Cup. So I guarantee
all those are attacking players. No defensive player emerged out of the league.
Yeah, I think you're right in that. But I guarantee there's one or two players we're going to be talking about as a great hope for the U.S. who we've kind of never even heard of.
Pretty great, but not on the defensive front where we need.
Maybe
it might be. I don't know. I don't think we are.
We definitely have a problem in the center.
We're definitely.
Yes.
I'm going to 100%.
And then the goalkeeper.
I'm going to 100% disagree. We are not going to see a U.S. men's national team name that we haven't heard of because their invitation was wide open in these last couple months.
It's been cast pretty
net
wide.
has been cast wide. So where is this person you're talking about? Where are they going to merge
now, they
from?
may develop in the year, come to.
Yeah.
I think that's possible.
That means in the next 7 months, somebody's going to emerge.
I'm going to throw something out. Not that I think this is going to actually happen, but could.
Okay.
George Campbell. Right? He's gotten one cap so far. One. Right? He's played pretty well in MLS. They're talking about transferring him to Europe. If he transfers to Europe and he gets a starting role, which is big ifs, I'm not saying, but let's say this could be, and he's suddenly in one of the decent European teams, he's playing really well, whatever, he could be the starting center back in the World Cup.
Who released George Campbell from Atlanta United?
It was Bocanegra.
Was it Boca?
I mean,
That was a terrible
I feel
decision.
like that had to be.
Yeah.
But my point is, I'm not sharing George Campbell's going to be that guy, but there could be a guy like that.
But no, because Poch would have need to seen that evidence clearly this last month and into this month for him to be confident of adding someone like that to the roster. So the only way George Campbell is going to have a chance is if Miles Robinson does another knee and Ream does another knee. Then you might be right. Then Dave might be like, yeah, I told you, George Campbell. Right? Like, I'm just saying, I think some people are going to have to go down, which is...
It's not ideal. Would we love to have, a center back who we can believe in right now? Of course. Yeah. It's not ideal.
I believe in Tim Ream still. I believe in Miles Robinson still.
But the
That's
rest...
good options.
The rest of the midfield...
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the mid... I mean, a couple of the guys, who in Spain have just got transferred to big clubs, and they're not even the starters, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the center three, Tyler Adams, Musa, and Weston McKennie, are legit good. It's by far the best engine room we have ever had on the U.S. national team. And, do we have the depth so much behind that? Yes, we have a few depth players even behind that.
Behind who?
Behind those three in the center of the park.
Yeah.
But, if those three guys are healthy and starting in the World Cup or whatever, we have a real chance because you got Pulisic, you got Weah, you got some guys that, maybe by the time it comes around, Gio Reyna gets his head straight and whatever it happens. We got some talent who can score and do some things. We even have some guys who could become better finishers. Balogun, Ricardo Pepi.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
They're not.
That's true.
When we were talking about previous U.S. national teams, you were like, God, I hope he gets a game in any club, period.
What do you think of Poch not pulling in Turner to be our starter right now during the Gold Cup?
Well, Turner, so one of the things, I don't know if you heard, but, and I don't think it's going to stick, but Lyon just got relegated for money issues.
Oh.
So Lyon, in the French First Division, because they were having financial problems,
Really?
which is so crazy, because they breached financial fair play
May not be able
rules,
to take them.
they got relegated.
Oh.
So they're now today they're
not
in
know that.
Division 2, and that's where Turner went to get all of his new playing time. That's also where our boy Almada ended up.
Yeah.
So now they're gonna appeal that, and
Right.
I can't imagine it's going to hold because it never holds. Manchester City's still playing after $8 bazillion in financial fair play. But anyway, Tim Turner, if he is at Lyon and he's starting and he's playing every game, then we should be fine.
Yeah.
I have to say, even the guy who a lot of people are down on, Zach Steffen, like if he's playing every game in MLS, I'm okay with it, because at least he's playing.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yes, he's playing every game for Colorado.
Okay.
Do I think we have the goalkeeping
So
that we've had in previous times?
Yeah,
No.
why is Freeze playing then?
Yeah, why is
that his name? Matt
Stefan
Freese?
not or Turner at camp? I don't get it.
Steffen's hurt, I thought, a little.
Steffen
Is
has
Turner
a
on the
little bit of
bench?
injury.
Turner's on the bench.
Turner's on the bench, yeah. You will see Turner, I think.
You do? Okay.
I actually think the guy who didn't play today because he's with the national team.
I think he
Schulte?
also might be hurt. I think Schulte also might be hurt.
Schulte got onto the roster. Anyway, he wasn't playing today for Columbus, but I think he's got a chance to be the starter in the World Cup. He's real good.
Yeah.
I think that we're going to be talking about for a good 3 to 4 months before the World Cup some players who are not on anybody's radar, and that's okay. That happens with all the best national teams. And all of this, I actually agree a little bit with the hot take on the Athletic article that, maybe we finally made it. They got people arguing with the coaches and club versus national team issues because we've never had that problem before because we've never had a guy, Pulisic, who's a starter in Serie A.
Oh, but wasn't Alexi Lass starter and a
Okay.
really awful, terrible Serie A team that was like relegated?
Okay, and he only started some of the time. He played some amount.
He was awful.
He's terrible.
Terrible. I'm just joking, but come on.
But he was the Abram of center backs. He was big and fast and physical and couldn't read the game that well and got beat
is
all the time.
Abram fast? Did I miss something?
Well,
Oh man.
we lost
3 to 1. You got called
All
it.
right, we called
Carmen
it.
and Mike nailed it.
All right. So what do you? So let's close the podcast of talking about the rest of the season. We're now past halfway. Where's our worry meter and what's our prognostication for the rest of the season?
Well, it was 11 podcasts ago for me. So can it go any higher? I mean,
I
it's
think
just,
11 is max.
like I said at the beginning, this is pure torture.
Yep.
No Atlanta United fan deserves this.
Yeah.
They need to just,
Would you sack the coach?
yeah, I would right now.
Would you?
I would sack the coach. I would also make some drastic roster changes.
You know who's
too.
available to coach?
That's the question.
Tata Martino.
Yeah.
With no more Boca Negra to fight with.
Yeah, I don't see him coming back.
Why not?
I want to come back to this madness.
Why
I don't know what. I just maybe he would.
Clearly, he enjoys coaching in MLS. He came to Miami, and he was in North America before that with Mexico. He's perfectly happy in North
I'd
America.
say, of course, I'd say yes.
I'd
to
be
that.
down for that if he's willing.
And he did really well at Miami.
But here's why I say no. Here's why I say no.
Uh-oh.
Like everything is cursed right now. Like anything that was needs to just be burnt down. I don't know.
See, I think
Start
I disagree
over.
with you on that. I mean, yes, we're horrible. We're perfect agreement with that.
Yeah.
But I think, for example,
We've been saying this for 5 years.
If we were to wave a magic fairy, wand right now, and at halftime or at the end of this game, if accidentally Deila didn't get on the bus and Wilfred Nancy gets on the bus instead, which is of course can't happen, but let's say in Magic Land or whatever, this team is a playoff team with a contending possibility. I truly believe that. With the right coach, it is. I was hoping that Ronnie Deila was going to be that right coach, and I was giving him the benefit of the doubt for a long time, as you know, and I said mid-season, but I see nothing.
I think there's something to do with even if you have the right player, the players are talented, but the chemistry and the culture is off, and so Wilfred Nancy might be able to create that, but something's off with the players' ability right now.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
To connect with each other. I don't know.
It's remarkable how fast that can change if you get it right. I just think, I totally disagree with Lagerway that coaching doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
I think it matters all kinds. And not to say that that's the only answer. I have said, and I will repeatedly say, we could get the best coach in the world right now, and our center backs are probably not good enough to, we could be a lot better because you could fix a lot of things. But are center backs good enough to be an MLS contender? Absolutely not. I mean, no matter what. But I don't care who the coach is.
Bottom line is what we saw tonight
Yeah.
was absolutely correctable, even mid-game.
Yeah.
Yelling on what to correct. Like, literally,
I could have corrected mid-game.
a coaching yelling at what the issue is, by at least the 20th minute right there, right? You could have been like, hey, if I see this again, you're coming off the field type of thing.
Yeah.
Lennon, get out wide and mark that guy.
Yeah, that's
Amador,
true.
stop holding his hand, get out wide there. Tell them, or they're off in 5 minutes.
Match up and go fucking play. And this is where I think, when Ronnie Deila got in trouble early and we didn't do so well, when he kept saying that, we lacked the fire, whatever, you were like, there's a danger. Because not to say, there are times when a coach has got to really demand more of the team or whatever, but in those early days, like, it was clear that tactically it was off, and you're like, you solve that first, and then you can go after, play harder and play whatever. But it doesn't matter how hard you're playing if the tactics are wrong, and if to some extent if the players are wrong. But there's a lot of people who want to, maybe including you, I don't know, I want to put words in your mouth, we want to burn down all the players. I don't think that we need to burn down all the players. We absolutely need to burn down our center backs. I mean, they're awful.
Yeah.
And as we've been saying, I think we need to burn down Lennon as a back. This whole idea that Lennon is a back is just
the only reason I'm saying that is it's not that I don't believe there's players. Miguel Almiron, Latte, they're great players.
Yeah.
And Marinchuk, I'm not flip flopping on that.
Yeah.
It's just the point is, like, we have all this money. I just need a fresh start. I don't want to. I just want a fresh start.
Yeah.
Because I think
I'm
Edwards
exhausted.
as a
exhausted.
replacement for Lennon is absolutely legit as a right back. I think Amador is fine as a left back. We're kind of 2 players away from being a real squad. And honestly, one of them could already be on the team if he actually played, is Gregerson. But we absolutely need a new center back.
Is he alive? Like, literally,
He's been out for 2 months with a
He's been out
hamstring.
for a
and-
very
2
long
months
time.
or a year and a half.
Yeah,
It
well,
feels like it.
yeah.
Definitely feels like it.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I think that's pretty hopeless. I think I don't have a lot of confidence that he's going to come back and be whatever. But if you sign a new center back, which we absolutely need, right? Let's say he doesn't come back, and maybe is Cobb good enough in the answer? If you had a better coach, probably.
Yeah. But I mean, even when Gregerson comes back, it's going to take him a month to get up to speed.
Yeah.
Like, it's just all too late. This season is an absolute wash.
It's so disappointing.
The season is over.
So this guy from Albania,
like, even if you're right, Dave, and we start playing better in October, September, does that matter?
in MLS, it can. I mean,
No, I mean,
Seattle has shown that.
No, it definitely doesn't for us. Like, we won't even make the playoffs, even if we play lights out. Not going to happen. We're not making the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't.
Right now, yes, of course. No, we're not making the playoffs. But is it hopeless for making the playoffs? No. You know, again, Magic Wand, if you waved it and you fired Deila and you hired Wilfred Nancy tomorrow, are we making the playoffs? I think yes.
Yeah.
Because it's so forgiving. But it's not going to happen because we're not. I mean, the club has shown, for better or worse, that they're stable about the coaching and whatever, and they don't think the coaching is that big a deal. So I don't see them moving on from Deila anytime soon, even though I would. Like, I've seen nothing, and I'm pretty astute about seeing, you know, are there signs, are there things getting better? But the thing that's been the problem from day one on this team is the defense, particularly center back, and he hasn't made it any. You know, he said this in the last press conference, right? He said the problem is we're not getting any better, and I agree with him. But I think it's because he hasn't really seen the problem, or if he has, he doesn't know how to correct it.
Yep.
Because I think there are things you could do that are correctable. If you really knew the defense was a problem, or if you really believed that, you would not let Lennon continue to play right back. You would have Edwards play right back permanently, period.
I mean,
right?
Lennon tonight, in terms of what did he do productively offensively?
He scored.
Did he?
Yeah.
He was in that little...
Accidentally ran into the ball.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
From 3 yards out.
That's pretty much it.
That was it. Yeah.
It's the only one he scored. But anyway, I'm not disagreeing with you. But I think actually Lennon, I think Lennon as a right guy
didn't we agree the whole reason that he got that goal was Edwards chested the ball beautifully?
Yeah.
And he just happened to be
he kind of like looked down, the ball was there and he kicked it.
Pretty much.
But he was there.
Yeah.
He was there.
Anyway,
he wasn't back defending.
But that's irrelevant, right? Because like he could be like a really good backup or whatever. He can sometimes play some start. Could rotate the front line would be really good. If you can get the back line right, you can do all of those things. Until you do that, you got nothing. No. So Lennon cannot play right back. Abram can never play MLS ever. If we just did those two things, even today without any new players, and this guy, can you put it back up, Carmen? Mm-hmm. So from Albania, he plays in the Portuguese league for a pretty good team. He's only 26 years old. I have no idea. I've never seen him play, but he could be good.
No,
I mean, he's got to be better.
And Nahum Mahaz. Yeah. Well, I don't know if he's got to be better, but he can't be worse.
No, he's got it. But then Abram, he's got to be better.
You never know. But it seems like he got to be better.
I mean,
well, we're a day late. $1 short, man.
He can't be worse. He can't be worse.
Too late.
He's available in a free transfer this summer.
Yep. Okay.
He could play.
It's somebody. At this point, I'm just either burn it all down. Something different. It doesn't have to be burn it all down.
Are you with me? Or are you with Mikey Dobbs? You want to burn it all down or no? I wouldn't burn it all down. I'd fire the coach.
Yeah. Something's got to change. I'm fine firing the coach because he hadn't shown that he's done
hold on,
anything.
though. Dave has
That's
always
rare
said
for me.
You never fire a coach unless you got a better replacement.
That's
so
right.
if it's Tata Martino, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if it's just nobody, we can't just
I don't think you should fire for the sake of to me, if I were running Atlanta United right now, I'd be trying to find new center backs. I'd be getting all right. And then the other thing I would be doing is I would be doing a coaching search. Right, back behind the scenes without talking to anybody, doing coaching search. I would reach out to a guy like Tata and I'd find out. And if he's like, yeah, I'm interested. And Tata always is scouting and whatever. If he's got one player, whatever he needs.
His pocket.
If he says, look, I'm interested. I need this player or these two players. Right. Then you fire him and you say, and so even if people are like, oh, you fired him too quick, you never gave him a chance. You're like, we had an opportunity to go back to the glory. He's been the most successful coach. He's got better credentials and, F off people.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've talked about it all, frankly.
You okay over there, Mikey Dobbs?
No, I'm not.
We're not okay. We're not okay there. If you want to send us, some kind messages.
If you want some kind messages,
puppies,
if you like this podcast and you want it to continue into 2026,
send us a message.
I definitely need some messages of encouragement.
I think, what I was thinking, maybe we should do some call-in. Let's go let the fans vent a little bit on the program.
Even the fans are done with call-ins. They don't
They
know.
might. They're going to call
I feel like
and be like,
venting
F
is
this
okay.
and F that.
Yeah,
and
venting
Harmony,
might
ready
be
for
fun.
some call-ins?
Yeah. I'll figure this out, and yes,
might try this.
We might have to try. Get ready if you're out. Well, you're not out there, but if you are eventually out there, get your vents ready.
To be fair, it's fair that you're not out there. Like
Very
nobody
fair.
should be out there right now.
Very fair. All right, but let's at least dance it out.
Let's dance it out.
All right.
Just like back in Guadalajara, you say, I do it, coach. Football is life. Danny Rojas, Danny Rojas.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye, guys.